welcome back in this channel. Today we will analyze the story of Guy de Maupassant. The first is plot detail analyzing. The story begins with introducing George as the main character. George has most intimate friend, namely Simon Redevine, who never met with him around 15 years. George tells Simon characteristics such as ingenious, delicate, humble, and etc. George also introduced Simon's life, especially when Simon got married with his wife, little girl from province. The next is rising action. The rising action happens when George meets with Simon for the first time. He little bit shocked to see Simon's appearance. Simon seems very short man, has red cheeks and big stomach. George starts to think what happened for this intimate friend. George meets with whole of Simon's family, his wife, his 5 children, and his grandfather. His wife now looks a short lady and still without intelligence. The grandfather's traits and Simon's appearance change. All of George did like observe all of Simon's family aspect. The conflict from this story is man versus himself. The main character thinks that something happened in his friend's family is wrong, but his friend thinks vice versa. The conflict is marked from the scenes when Simon's family treat his grandfather in dinner time that George thinks is very innocent. The climax from this story is marked with George and Simon conversation. George asks to Simon to give other piece of cake to his grandfather, but Simon refuses that. Simon thinks that give all of his grandfather want is danger for his health. In deepest of Simon's heart, he feels sad why this condition happened in his friend that he thinks is so intelligent. Now is the following actions. The following actions is scenes after the dinner. George playing cards. Then he goes to his room with sad feelings. Now is the resolutions. The resolutions is George regret the life of his intimate friend family. How poor and unfortunate the attitude of them, but George thinks the life must go on. Second is analyzing point of view. Point of view in this story by Guy de Maupassant is third omniscient person. As is well known, the narrator knows all of the character feelings, so it called third omniscient person. Now is analyzing characters. This story has 5 characters, with George as main character. George is caring person, understanding person's feeling, and accomplished observer. The next is Simon. He is an intelligent man, light-headed, witty, enthusiastic, and easygoing. The next is Simon's wife. She is an intelligent person, as George described it in the verse. She is also easygoing as his husband. Short lady girls without any other things that make her as a woman, or we call conservative. The next is grandfather, an old man, 87 years old, with difficulty to speak, old, paralyzed, greedy, and sometimes innocent. The next is Simon's children. They are 5 siblings, with the oldest one is 14 years old. All of their traits are good, especially that show to George, which is we call full of respect. But sometimes their trait also innocent, especially that show to their grandfather. The next is setting. Setting is divided into 3 parts: place, social, and time. Place. I think in this story has 2 place settings, which is the first is in the train station, and the second is in the Simon house. The train station happened when George and Simon meet in the first time after 15 years, and in the Simon house happened almost all of the story. And the next is social setting. I think culture of society in province with no ethics, no logics, and no wisdom, at least for citizens' mind. And the last is time setting. The story doesn't show the time implicitly, but I think the scene happened in a century when communication tools haven't been invented for the reasons how can 2 intimate friends are separated without any communications. So the time is happened when the communication tools haven't been invented era. So the next is analyzing symbol. In this story I found 2 symbols. The first symbol is armchair that show disability, and the second one is piece of cake that show someone's pleasures. The next is theme. I think theme of this story is civilization that less humanize human. We go to the last sections of analyzing story. I think the story tells about something irony. Why? Because how could the serve to keep someone healthy actually robbed someone's pleasure? This is irony sense. And then personally I am disagree with the explicit message from the author that to give all of someone need, in this case is grandfather. I think in actual life all of things need limitations. And the last, the way all of family treat to the grandfather indeed very bad, disrespectful. I agree with George's feelings, but as human beings we must understand what the purpose of each reason in this context is, to give a limitation to something that is needing it's not bad. I think this is all of the analyzing of story A Family by Guy de Maupassant. Thank you for your nice attention. See you next time.